I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us back for another episode 59.
59.
59. Wow, that's a lot.
Right.
Let's see. What'd you love about this week?
This week, I love that I have today off.
Yeah.
My schedule's changing a little bit at work, so I'm going to start having Fridays off, and it'll be like a dedicated podcast day.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
Be able to put in a little bit of extra work on it.
That'll be fun.
It will be
Spend
fun.
some time together without the child.
Mm-hmm.
That child
That
just
too.
always up to
Might
ass.
just take a day and do some date days.
Yeah, it'd be fun too, for sure.
What did you love about this week, baby?
I napped a lot.
Yeah.
I did. I napped a lot.
Caught up on some sleep?
No.
No?
I'm still so damn tired. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's post-COVID or, I'm in that medical menopause. So I don't know if this is the time when my period would start.
I mean, normally people nap anyways.
Yeah.
It's in, what is it, Europe or something? They have a nap during work. They nap 15 minutes.
Probably. I know some companies in the US do that. They'll make you take 20-minute naps so you can have a power nap.
Sure.
But in Mexico, they literally take 2 hours during the middle of the day
to nap
nap and get something to eat. And
sure.
Just a siesta is a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
God, I wish we had that in the US, but no, we just all stand on our feet and work till we're dead.
I know, right?
You guys would head on over to theparanormallovers.threadless.com. We have a sale going on until the 20th for $15 off t-shirts.
Merchandising.
Yeah, and we have the Black History Month collection and the Valentine's Day collection. Those will be leaving on March 1st. And I will be putting out 2 new collections for next month. So if you want to get in on any of that fun shit, go grab you some of that before it's all gone.
For sure.
Before it's all gone. All right. What do you got for us today, Bill?
Well, it's episode 59. And since we're celebrating Black History Month, and then next month we got Women's History Month, I've decided to do kind of a special episode. It's the episode of the most famous UFO abduction story, the Barney and Betty Hill UFO abduction story.
It's actually Betty and Barney, but okay. He has to do it his way.
Right.
Yeah, this is hands down. It's one of my favorite, but yeah,
it's one of the first UFO stories, but it kind of it kind of covers both months because Barney was a black man and Betty's a woman.
Hey, shit happened in the 60s, and we all know what was going on then.
Yeah, it happened in the 60s. I love this story because it's about aliens, and it's about a mixed couple in the 60s.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for people like Barney and Betty Hill, me and Felicia's marriage might not have been possible today.
Yeah.
Just to give some thanks to all mixed race couples around the world. Thank you guys. Remember, love knows no boundaries.
Yeah. It'll be 58 years, I think, this year that our marriage would be federally recognized. It's only been 58 years that mixed race couples can get married in these here great United States of America. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. It is ridiculous. It's stupid. So, on to the episode. This story is one of, if not the first alien abduction stories ever reported to the public.
Yeah.
Barney Hill was a black man born on July 20th, 1922 in Newport News, Virginia.
Oh.
He had 4 siblings and was the youngest of 4. Growing up, Barney decided to join the Army. at a young age, and he enlisted at the time of World War II. He was discharged later after serving his term. He then attended Temple University, where he met a woman named Ruby. He decided to marry Ruby and later had two kids with her. Not sure what happened to Barney and Ruby's marriage, but it went south, and they decided to get a divorce. Not long after the divorce, Barney met a woman named Betty Barrett. Betty Barrett was born on June 28th, 1919, in Newton, New Hampshire. She had went to the University of New Hampshire as a young woman and wound up getting a master's degree in social sciences.
Wow, that's pretty impressive for a woman to get her master's in
Yeah.
the 40s.
Yeah.
Wow.
She used her degree after college to get a job working in her local community as a social worker, mostly in the child welfare department.
That's a rough department.
Much respect for this woman. Like,
Mhm.
that's like so rough. Anyone who decides to get a job like that, this is a hero in my book. Like,
Yeah.
such a hard job.
I mean, we've definitely had our not conspiracies, but like we've definitely had our issues with child welfare around this area doing some real shady shit.
For sure.
But you gotta come face to face with some terrible stuff on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I cannot
And
imagine.
to try to like keep pushing through that, like seeing
Yeah,
all the
you have
sad
to like
stories
keep it
is
together.
like, oh,
Like this little kid's telling you about all this terrible stuff that like their parent did to them or something, and you have to keep it together
yeah,
without murdering that part. No,
yeah,
I couldn't do it.
yeah. But Betty earned the respect of her community for this work, and shortly after meeting Barney Hill. Oh wait, I skipped some of my notes. No. Okay. But Betty earned the respect of her community, and shortly after she met Barney Hill, the two fell deeply in love and decided that they were going to get married. Barney and Betty were a interracial couple during a time in history that made it very difficult. They had to face a lot of ridicule from the public. Again, with people like that, uh, with an openly black and white relationship and marriage, it wouldn't have been possible for me and Felicia to even be together today.
No.
Barney and Betty were very confident with each other and seemed to have a very good relationship and marriage. After getting married, Barney and Betty moved to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which was Betty's hometown.
Also,
That's where she grew up.
north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, it was.
Which also, I don't know. I kind of feel like that place is. I don't know about that particular town, but there's parts of even New England that's like old money wealth.
Right.
That speedy, highfalutin Gilmore Girls, old money wealth. Like, it's gross.
Yeah. They purchased a home about a half hour away from Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston! I love Boston. I love it. I did not know the baked beans came from there, but hey.
Yeah. Boston baked beans.
Well, it's called Beantown. I thought it was about coffee. No, it's baked beans, dumbass.
The Barney got a job as a postal worker in Boston, which is like, that's quite a drive.
30 minutes?
It's an hour.
Oh, an hour
Yeah.
in and out. I mean, well,
But
technically, if you think about it, it's probably a lot longer if you think about having to like traffic. I've rode in traffic
Yeah, it's crazy.
in
isn't
Boston. It's a little bananas.
it?
Yeah.
He was also a member of the local Civil Rights Commission in Boston. I should have gone into a civil rights field when I was younger because the passion I had back then about rights, like people's rights and laws and stuff, was like very strong back then.
I don't know, I think it's better that you didn't though, because I feel like you've grown a lot, especially since we've been together.
I'd have probably got, like, killed or something too.
Well, I feel like some of your views have changed a lot, especially since we've been together
I
too,
mean,
so
I'm still passionate about it, but I'm, like, old and tired now. Like
yeah, but I feel like you've grown a little bit more because, like, we've had this conversation,
Yeah.
like, you've told me that, like, I kinda have changed your mindset on, like, Mexicans
Oh, yeah.
and stuff, so I feel like now you would be better at it because 'cause you've
For sure,
grown, you know?
for sure. Uh, Barney received many accommodations for his work with the civil rights movement. He was once honored for his outstanding work with the community by the governor of New Hampshire.
Nice.
He was also invited to the inauguration of Lyndon Johnson in 1963 and gave an
Such a jackass.
and gave an acceptance speech regarding his renown in the New England community because Barney. Uh, Hold on, I lost my place. uh,
Let's go back to Lyndon B. Johnson.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just said that because if you've ever seen I think it was The Butler,
Hmm.
that one movie with the guy that was, like, the butler in the White House through, like, 8 different presidents.
Yeah,
Lyndon B. Johnson was one of them,
one
and
of
he
them.
was such an asshole in that movie, and I'm like,
Right.
"You're just an asshole in real life."
Yeah.
It's fine.
So he gave an acceptance speech regarding his renown in the New England community because Barney and Betty Hill were very active members of the NAACP, which is, you guys who don't know, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. They were very much pioneers in their own way for being an interracial couple. They were both very respected and intelligent people. So, late at night on September 19th, 1961, Barney and Betty Hill were driving home from Portsmouth from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Canada.
This is where their abduction story takes place.
Also, it's just so wild. They're just like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Canada for the day and then go home.
Yeah.
See you later."
They were coming home from a vacation that they had taken to Niagara Falls. Great place for lovers,
So hurt, never been.
right? Around 10 o'clock, they started to approach a town called Indian Head in New Hampshire. Barney was driving along when, up in the sky, Betty started to see a strange light. Betty took interest in this light. She was an astronomy fan, and the culture around this time period had become interested in UFOs, with, like Roswell and other stories coming out.
Mhm.
Uh, Betty, thinking like any of us, wondered what this object could be: a plane, comet, shooting star. Um, there wasn't many satellites back then, but I would have wondered that too. Like, maybe it's a satellite.
No, you would not have. You'd have looked right up and went, "It's a UFO." That's exactly what you would have done. And yeah, like, there was no Musk putting out thousands of satellites be popping around the damn sky back then either.
Right.
So when you saw a strange light, it was a strange light.
Yeah. And then she notices that the movement of this object was not behaving like any of those. So, like, it wasn't moving like a star or planet or.
And then you go, "Oh shit, it might actually be a UFO."
Yeah. This object seemed to be moving in between the moon and the planet Jupiter. Fairly easy objects to kind of spot in the night sky if you know what you're looking for. Uh, Betty started to wonder if this was one of the UFOs that people claim to be seeing. So she asked her husband, Barney, do you see that light? Betty knew that it was something strange because it seemed to move upward in the sky. After both her and Barney watched this light for a while, they noticed that the light seemed to be getting brighter and moving closer to them as they drove along US Route 3. It moved erratically moving in and out of Barney and Betty's view of the object. The whole time, both Barney and Betty became more and more suspicious of this light in the sky. Eventually, Barney drove until he got to a scenic picnic area where he could pull the car over. We called these where we live overlooks.
Mhm.
Uh, there's lots of them on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but they were just south of the Twin Mountains at the time. They both wanted to get a closer look and walk their dog Delcy, who was their Dotson. Uh, they wanted to let him go to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah.
I would have totally stopped too. I get so pumped when I see a light in the sky that could possibly be a UFO.
Yeah, I don't think you would have stopped. You'd have been trying to follow it. You'd be
Right?
like, "Where you going? Where you going? Do you see it? Where'd it go? Which way to go? Go left? Did it go right? Did it go behind us? Where is it?" Yeah,
Right.
this is what you would be doing until I would be like, "Sir, we have a child in the car. We need to go." And even Patty would probably be sitting back there going, "It went that way, Daddy. Look, it's over there, Daddy. Follow it. Go that way. Go. You're gonna look like, oh Lord."
Yeah.
I could not deal with you two if we actually saw a damn UFO in the car.
So Barney had a pair of binoculars that he had brought on vacation with him. So he pulled them out and started looking at the object through the binoculars. Barney started to make out the shape of the object that they were seeing, and to him it looked like a saucer shape or a disc, like a big frisbee.
Mm-hmm. What a frisbee doing in the sky?
He said it had lots of multicolored lights and a line of windows that were shimmering and reflective. They observed this object travel across the face of the moon. So you could kind of make out what it was by going across the
It
moon.
was E.T.
Right. Originally, Barney thought that the object was just a commercial aircraft, but quickly changed his mind as it seemed to change direction without turning, like a plane, and started to descend in his direction.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Barney and Betty start to freak out a little bit, thinking that this thing had taken notice of the two staring at it. So they jumped back in their car and started heading down this remote one-lane dirt road.
Why though? But like, why?
I don't know why.
Like,
Not sure why they took the dirt road.
hit the interstate.
Unless it was like the road that they were already on, maybe.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Because I can imagine back then, probably all the parkways and stuff weren't that great.
Because like they were on Route 3, but then I don't know how they got off the highway or why.
Well, you said they stopped at like an overlook.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't
but it wouldn't be on the highway.
Well, you don't think it would be on the dirt road either.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, but either way, they wound up on a dirt road after taking off from this overlook. So I think they felt safer in the car. So, and this area that the dirt road was on was called Franconia Notch. The whole time that they were driving, they kept their eyes locked on the craft that still seemed to be following them.
Mm-mm.
Barney had to drive a lot slower on the remote dirt road. It was dark and the path was windy. The object that they were watching seemed to be catching up to them because they had to drive slower. It flew erratically and seemed to stop and hover over a little restaurant that was on top of Cannon Mountain. The mountain also had a tall signal tower. I picture the restaurant from Kid Cosmic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does make me wonder, like, if this was New Hampshire in the 60s, it's possible that it's like a parkway type road and like they just hadn't paved it yet.
Right. Yeah, I mean a lot of roads back then were just dirt roads.
Yeah.
Especially here where we live.
Yeah.
I mean, most all of them were back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I picture that restaurant. They had to stop and get some food.
Right, it's just, like, floating on a rock in the middle of space.
Right.
That's a good show, we need to watch that again.
We do. If you guys haven't watched Kid Cosmic, check it out.
It's good, but, oh boy, I tell you what, you better be ready to cry.
Yeah, you'll cry.
Oh my god, there's some sad parts of that freaking
Yeah.
cartoon.
It's a good one, though. Barney and Betty also witnessed the craft hovering over a large granite cliff that was about 40 feet long. They said that the craft was 1.5 times the size of this cliff,
Wow.
and that they could see the craft kind of spinning or rotating.
Interesting.
hmm As the strange craft bobbed and weaved across the night sky, Barney and Betty drew closer to a place called Indian Head. About 1 mile south of Indian Head, the craft that they were observing started to get really, really close to their position. The lights from the craft started to light up Barney and Betty's 1957 Chevy Bel Air.
Nice.
A sweet
That
car.
is a sweet car.
Although I wouldn't want to take that thing down a dirt road.
Hell no.
Be sliding all over the
This
place.
is exactly the reason why I do not currently own a 1967 Chevy Impala.
Right. But the lights got so bright that Barney could no longer see the dark road in front of him. I feel him on that. I got bad stigmatisms in both of my eyes.
You get the
Like,
sunburst.
I'd be like, no.
Hell, I would probably struggle with my light sensitivity. I'd be like, I can't fucking see.
Right. So he slams on his brakes and stops the car. Now both Barney and Betty are panicking. So Barney gets out of the car, runs over to the trunk, pulls out his .22 pistol.
Ain't Barney seen Nope?
Right? I know if I was a black man in the 60s, I'd be well armed as well. But
I mean, yeah, you got a point there.
although I'm more of a bladed weapons guy, like a Kill Bill type of style, if you know what I mean.
Well, again, this was also a black man in the 60s, so times were different.
It's true. So Barney started pointing his .22 at the craft.
What the hell is he think it gonna do?
Like, go ahead, aliens.
It's
Make
a
my day.
spacecraft. What's your little pew pew gonna do, Barney? Jesus.
Right. With his binoculars out again, he said he could see 8 to 11 human-looking figures peering out of the craft's line of windows at him. Like, oh shit, he's gonna shoot us.
Either that or they're in there just laughing.
Right?
Like, look at this guy with this little pew pew. What the hell, these humans are so funny.
He said that it looked like they were wearing glossy black uniforms and black capes. Sounds like a good old-fashioned Martian standoff.
Are we sure it wasn't Doctor Strange?
Maybe.
I could see him laughing at Barney with a gun. He's
Right.
like, oh, okay.
Either way, it was like, who's gonna make the first move here?
Right. Like an old good Mexican standoff.
Right. I would be peeing my pants, or trying to say hello. I'm not sure which one.
And I would be the ones that in the passenger seat going, nope, nope,
No, I'm not getting out of the car.
nope, nope, nope.
So then Barney sees that all the figures except for one move to the back of the craft to what looked like a big wall that it had control panels all over it. Wonder if their alien got their control panels from Moog.
More like Moog got Moog from Aliens.
Aliens, yeah, that could be possible too.
He's like, they came and saw me in a dream when I was tripping on LSD.
Yep. Told me about the what's the synthesizer? The theremin.
Yeah. That fucking thing is weird.
Right. Let's see, where was I? The one alien that was left standing at the window then, according to Barney, non-verbally sent him a message. In his head, he heard the alien say, "Stay where you are." Or reach for the sky.
It's me just looking at it going, Nope. Getting back in the car and leaving.
Just kidding about the reach for the sky. That's Toy Story.
Toy Story. Yeah.
But Barney then sees huge bat-like wings with shiny red lights on them popping out of the side of the craft.
You say huge bat-like wings?
Bat wings.
Are we sure it's just not a cape?
Well, I was thinking like a flying head, maybe.
I was just thinking they just like take the cape, they're just like whoosh,
Right.
you know, like Dracula, fly out of there.
You know what I'm saying? Though sounds kind of like a flying head from the indigenous tale stories.
I don't remember that one.
You know,
But
did you not listen to the flying head ones?
I probably have. Do you know how many podcasts that I listen to?
This is true. This is true. She listens to a lot of podcasts.
I have like 55 different podcasts on my Spotify. It's so much.
But that's what popped into my head, like a flying head.
I don't know. It's making me think of oh jeez. There was a vampire in what is that? Kind of makes me think of the one from Star, for one, where Marco has to go rescue his sister and the baby.
I think I remember that one.
The dude with the mouth stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of that one. And like the dude from what is that one with the kids that did the tech show? Glitch Techs, the dude in the castle.
Right.
Kind of makes me think of like those two kind of things.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, he saw two bat wings popping out of the sides of the craft. But also the wings are coming out of the sides, or while the wings are coming out of the sides, he sees a structure forming out of the bottom of the craft.
Okay, so the wings were coming out of the craft.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that it was just like people like popping out of the craft with wings.
No.
That's where. Okay, we're on the same page now.
Okay, so you got bat wings coming out of the side
Popping out the bottom.
and a structure coming out of the bottom of the craft.
Bet. Let's go.
While this craft was seemingly inviting the Hills to come inside for a chat, Barney estimated that the craft was around 80 feet above the ground and around 300 feet in front of them. So about a football field, which for something that big, it's not far. Like,
no, that's real damn close.
I'd have been freaking out.
Yeah.
But the craft was also still moving toward them. So later on, in an interview done by Walter Webb, who worked for a National Investigations Committee for Aerial Phenomenon, Barney told Walter that the beings that he saw in this craft did not look human. Which, why would they? Like, it's definitely not a plane or a helicopter,
Right.
which an Army guy would know. Like,
he should, yeah.
Right. Barney still is in shock and starts getting the feeling that these beings were trying to capture him and Betty. So he jumps back in the car and he tells Betty that they need to haul ass to get the hell out of there before they get captured. So they throw the car in gear, slam on the gas, and do the most epic burnout on the gravel road that the aliens had ever seen.
You can imagine anyway. It's like you were there about 20 years before you were born. Yeah, I can imagine like it would be. I'd be Audi.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, they got the heck out of there.
Honestly, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I would be torn between my own personal safety, wanting to get the hell out of there, and also curiosity.
Like, what the hell am I just seeing?
That killed the cat. Because I'd be like, you want me to come inside? Do you have chocolate?
What do you got? What do you got in there?
If you have chocolate, wine, and weed, I'm there. Like, that's how you get me, guys. That's how you get me.
Right.
Show me the chocolate wine and weed. Better yet, if you can make it chocolate weed wine,
Even better.
even better.
Just a little pill that does both.
Just a little bit of everything. It's fine.
Or like maybe like a scanner or something that you just like press the button on it and you start feeling that way.
Like a patch. Like a patch. Just put a patch on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously, they got the heck out of Dodge. So as Barney's barreling down the road. Um, the curiosity of Betty, being who she was,
A
she,
white woman.
she's like, she starts rolling the window down and hanging her head out of the car.
A white woman. I tell you what.
So she's just like hanging her head out the window, watching this craft as they drive away. And I think Betty was calmer and more fascinated than Barney was.
Well, Barney's also like a military guy.
Yeah,
You know,
and a black
Betty
man.
does. Yeah, Betty does social sciences. Okay?
Right.
She's a socialist.
She ain't scared of shit.
She's like, I gotta figure it out. That's
Right.
my job. Figure it
Yeah.
out. Make sure everything's okay. Barney's like, they're fucking coming for us. We gotta go.
We gotta get out of
fucking
here.
go. But yeah,
So I think so yeah, while Betty's hanging out the window like a madman, she starts to hear a buzzing sound, like a vibrating, but it was in a sequence, and also like a strange beeping sound that goes along with it. I kind of picture like the iconic movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like doo 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 doo.
I have not seen that movie.
You haven't
but
seen that movie?
No, I mean,
Oh my god,
if I did, I was a small child. I don't remember. But
it's really good too. But it's Steven Spielberg.
you say beeping, and all I can think about is Stu because we watched Lila and the Leap this morning. So just like beep.
Right, yeah. It's kind of those type noises, yeah. But both Barney and Betty, while listening to the strange sounds coming from the craft, start to feel a strange tingling sensation in their bodies. Not like ASMR tingles. I bet more like a bass in a loud car type of tingles.
Kind of thing where it just like vibrates through your whole body.
Yeah. So both Barney and Betty lose consciousness as a result of hearing these sounds and getting these tingles. As the craft lets loose of its hold on Barney and Betty, they start to come to their senses and again realize that they're 35 miles south of where they originally were. They had no memory of how they got there. It had also been 2 hours, and they had no memory of what they were doing for this amount of time. They just remembered driving away from the craft, and then all of a sudden, they were way, way down the road.
I never understand that. Why can't they just put you back?
I don't know.
Like, you took me out of this spot. I want you to put me back in this spot.
You would figure that they would, you know?
Right? At
Like-
least try and make it seem like nothing happened. No, we're gonna put you, a few hundred miles away so you can be like, this is not where I was at. Like,
Yeah.
put me back.
Just leave you real, real confused.
Real confused. They actually do that sometimes. I've heard a couple where people will be like in a boat or something and they'll come to like on the shoreline. So
Right.
they're like in the same location, but it's still weird that you can't just put me back where you plucked me from.
Yeah. So they realized that they had drove way off the beaten path, and it was taking way longer to get home than it normally did.
Mhm.
They didn't get home that day until around 5 o'clock in the morning. They said that when they got home, they had odd sensations and strange impulses in their bodies. Barney was almost ill, and both felt real, real strange. Kind of reminds me of the past when I got real drunk and couldn't remember anything from the night before.
I have thankfully never been that drunk, so
Right. They were also worried about contamination, which is strange, but I could see that, like, being kind of the dawn of the nuclear age, like,
yeah.
plus who knows what kind of germs aliens have. Like, don't want space worms. Like,
I don't know. I'm thinking the aliens are probably a hell of a lot cleaner than we fucking are.
probably,
You
but
know, which really does surprise me that they keep bringing us nasty little fuckers onto their ship. But I guess they learned to, I don't know, eradicate diseases or something. So
sure. But they left their luggage on the back porch of their house just to be sure. Also, Barney's wristwatch seemed to have stopped, and the clocks in Barney and Betty's house all stopped working.
which is real strange because they weren't home,
Like the batteries got drained or something,
which
but
is real weird because they weren't home.
very strange. They noticed several things that they couldn't explain about that night. The strap on Barney's binoculars was torn, and a pair of his nice dress shoes were like dirty and scuffed.
Hmm.
They both took a hot shower shortly after arriving home, and Barney started to worry that something sexual happened to him. Upon examining his genitals, he couldn't find anything wrong, but both him and Betty just had weird feeling that something happened to him. So they both sat down and rehashed the night before, telling each other what they had experienced, trying to understand and piece together what had happened to them. They were trying to put the puzzle, back together again.
Mhm.
Um, as they get settled in, Betty winds up falling asleep for a couple of hours. And after sleeping for a bit, she woke up and goes to grab her clothes that she had on the night before. Well, she notices that the dress that she was wearing, uh, as she was putting it up, uh, she notices that her dress had been ripped at the zipper, the lining, um, and the hem, and that there was a pinkish powder on it. So, and she also realized that her blue earrings were missing
Hmm.
and that she didn't remember taking them off. But Betty later got the dress and the pink powder tested to see what the substance might have been. It was tested in 5 different, scientific laboratories, and all of them determined that the powder was organic, but they could not find the origin of it. They didn't know what it was,
That's weird.
and that her dress was consistent with samples that had high UV exposure.
Hmm.
Like, you, uh like, you let your clothes bake in the sun for too long. Uh, UFO stories have often reported having some sort of radiation that goes along with them,
Yeah.
and that's what it was consistent with. Uh, when Barney and Betty went back out to their car, they noticed that on the trunk were shiny little circles just embedded all over the trunk. Um, like the aliens that made crop circles on the trunk of their car.
In the dust.
Um, no, like it was like in the paint job.
Oh,
So it was like the dopest paint job
that's
ever.
weird.
But this pattern on the trunk of their car is super interesting, because Barney and Betty remembers when they were hearing the buzzing sound coming from the craft, it sounded to them like it was coming from the back or the trunk of the car too.
Hmm.
Um, and that, my friends, is where I'm going to end this episode
Aw, shit.
as part one of Barney and Betty Hill's abduction story.
Nice.
So thank you guys for listening. Come back and listen next time to find out the aftermath and possibly what happened to Barney and Betty during the time they blacked out.
Yeah. This is definitely an interesting one. Barney and Betty are iconic
For
in the
sure.
UFO community, and there's a lot of questions. I mean, there's a lot of questions with any
There's a,
UFO abduction story, but
there's a lot more stuff I'm going to cover on it. I just wanted to give you guys
the rundown.
the rundown of their story.
It's really good. I'm glad you're doing this one. I love these two. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us this week. If you would like, head on over to Instagram and YouTube. Go into the search bar and search for the Paranormal Lovers. You can find us on both of those platforms through that way. Again, head on over to theparanormallovers.threadless.com. Check out our merch, our regular collections, Valentine's Day, Black History Month. Those two will be leaving March 1st, so get it while it's there.
Yeah, there's some cute ones.
There are some
Some
cute
cool
ones, and they're on sale. $15 t-shirts. Everything else is on sale. Head on over there and check that out. And if you'd like, send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com with a topic suggestion. Any comments on the episodes? If we get something wrong, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.